Hello, BookTube. I'm coming to you once again with odd thumbprint technology and also at an odd time and at an odd place. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to do mail otherwise and also other videos, so you have to pardon the disruption. But I have a little bit of mail I want to go through with you. I don't know if there'll be more. I don't know what's going to happen. This is going to be a little bit of an upheaval I think, of the rest of the week, but we shall see. I got 2 packages in the mail and also a bit of mail. I also got the Vineyard Gazette, the Martha's Vineyard Gazette, which is an old-style broadsheet newspaper that is made on the island of Martha's Vineyard, right off the coast of Massachusetts. And through a lucky combination of circumstances, I am their book reviewer. And ordinarily, when I am presented with a venue where I do work regularly, I would recommend it to you. I would recommend that you subscribe to it. I certainly recommend that you all subscribe to the Christian Science Monitor for instance. I don't know that I can do that with the Vineyard Gazette. It is very much a local newspaper. It just happens to be of a very, multi-million-dollar vacation getaway island. So large chunks of it probably would be of no interest to you. I am the book reviewer, and I am I'm in it fairly often. And there are wonderful reflection columns about nature and life on the island. And then the back of the Vineyard is birding news, the Vineyard Gardener. A lot of people that I know who read the Gazette start at the back, myself included. But I'm in this Vineyard Gazette. I get the Vineyard Gazette, and I'm in this one with a review of a new book, and it's not a self-published memoir about the island. I get a lot of those, and I love reviewing them. But this is rather about, this is a mainstream press book that just happens to have a Martha's Vineyard connection. This is Elizabeth Cohen's book, Saving America's Cities, which we've seen on this channel, which is a biography of Ed Logue, the urban planner, who, it turns out, spent his retirement years on the vineyard. So that was the hook I needed to review the book. Elizabeth Cohen, it's a fantastic biography of Logue, but it's maddening because it's positive. It's largely positive. She largely exonerates Logue for his crimes against city living, and she makes a very, very interesting case, but it's an impossible case to make to someone with a long history with Boston, because Logue was a human wrecking ball in Boston and destroyed. If you heard her, you might as well see her. He destroyed a neighborhood named Scully Square, and he also greenlit a lot of the monstrous brutalism that still plagues the city. It's impossible for me to give him a fair shake, but I did give the biography a fair shake. I write, let's see here, Ms. Cohen. The Gazette adheres to the age-old ritual of putting honorifics at the beginning of people's names, Ms., Mr., Mrs. I didn't do that, but they do. Some newspapers do. The Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, they do. She sets herself the unenviable double task of first making the case that federal urban renewal projects have been unjustly maligned in the last 60 years, and second, making the case that one of the most notorious urban renewal avatars in American history, Ed Logue, characterized by urban planning patron St. Jane Jacobs as, quote, a very destructive man, has likewise been misunderstood. Saving America's Cities strives for a correct assessment on both the program and the man. It fails on both points. But it is a glorious failure. This is sociological and biographical writing of the first order, fluidly told, endlessly interesting, and formidably researched. It's doubtful the dual subjects presented here will ever receive a more thoughtful analysis. And then I go on, I talk about the book, I talk about Logue's career, and when I get to Boston, I unload just a little. Since most of you don't subscribe to the Vineyard Gazette, and I don't know the state of its online, I don't know if this is online yet or when it will be, I thought I would read you the choice paragraphs. In Boston, notoriously, Logue demolished Scully Square and commissioned the windswept concrete abomination that is City Hall Plaza, adorned with the bizarre inverted ziggurat monkey puzzle New City Hall, Stories about government clerks lost for years or even decades in the dim Byzantine hallways remain at press time, unconfirmed, but depressingly likely. Throughout his stay in Boston, Logue regularly heard from residents who were excessively and insensitively displaced from their homes, but earnest improvers backed by federal money and the power of eminent domain can be impatient creatures. More than anything, Cohen's version of Ed Logue is that of an impatient man. And I don't know what Elizabeth Cohen, I imagine that she will see the review, because although the Vineyard Gazette is not a major newspaper venue, it has very active book coverage. And as you know, if you maybe watch the news, very active newspaper book coverage is rarer and rarer with every passing year. If there is an electronic version, I will definitely make sure that she and her publisher know that the review exists. I have never yet been blurbed for all the book reviews that I've written for the Vineyard Gazette. I've never been. It would be the dream of a lifetime for me as a book reviewer. Two things: one, to be in a Penguin Classic, to be blurbed in a Penguin Classic, and two, to have a blurb on a book that said Steve Donahue, Martha's Vineyard Gazette. Those two would be just a dream come true. So I don't know if she'll become aware of it, but it was real fun to do. And I only need a little bit of that. I only need one or two reviews like that to settle my hash with a newspaper like the Gazette, and then I'm perfectly happy to go back to the local books. So I imagine that'll be my next few. But let's do these two mail packages. I'm sorry for the odd light, sorry for the timing, sorry for the technology and all that. I've got people sleeping all over the place here. So it'd be kind of funny if one of these packages is my new Martha's Vineyard book. But let's see. Oh, fantastic. Okay, no, this is a 2020 book that I requested. I don't know if we saw the original, but this is, I'm of course not going to pass up Viking fiction. This is Twilight of the Gods by Scott Odin. Look at that cover. And this is a sequel to The Gathering of Ravens. In Gathering of Ravens, Grimnir fought for vengeance. Now the corpse maker is back to fight for his survival in the latest Viking epic fantasy novel, Twilight of the Gods. It is the year of our Lord 1218. And the land of the Raven Geats, the old ways reach deep. And while the Geats pay a tax to the king in the name of the White Christ, their hearts and souls belong to the gods of Asgard, and no man can serve two masters. Pledging to burn this Norse heresy from the land, famed crusader Conrad the White leads a host against the Raven Geats, marching torch and sword to bring forth the light of a new religion. But the land of the Raven has an ancient protector, Grimnir, the last in a long line of monsters left to plague Midgard, and he will stand between the ravens and their destruction. So it's a mixture of Viking fiction and fantasy. And I can't remember that I read Gathering of Ravens, so I might have to pester the publishers for the first one of those. I'm not sure how well this will stand on its own. This comes out in February, though. Count on me squealing about it closer to the day, because I have a feeling that I'm going to love it. But let's see what this next one is. This is from Yale University Press. What is this? Okay, this is not known to me. This is early January 7th. Good Lord, I might not even be back by then. This is right away. This is by Kate Fulligar, and it's The Warrior, the Voyager, and the Artist. 3 lives in an age of empire. Coming out in January from Yale. 3 interconnected 18th century lives offer a fresh account of the British Empire and its intrusion into indigenous societies. This engaging history brings together the stories of Joshua Reynolds, the only one I recognize, and 2 indigenous men, the Cherokee Ostinako and the Rhaetian Mai. Kate Fulligar uncovers the life of Ostinako, tracing his emergence as a warrior, his engagement with colonists through the War and Peace, and his eventual rejection of the imperial politics during the American Revolution. She delves into the story of Mai, his confrontation with conquest and displacement, as well as his return home with a burning ambition to right past wrongs. Woven throughout is a new history of Reynolds, rising to the top of the British art world, yet remaining ambivalent about his nation's expansionist trajectory. He doesn't seem like he fits this at all. Joshua Reynolds? Okay, and Kate Fulligar is the Associate Professor of Modern History at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia, where I have never been. I've never been to Australia. I've never been to Sydney. And now I never will. Wow. Okay. Well, this comes out in January. It's tempting. These both are, but this being such a small mail haul, this is an example of a mail haul in which I will not touch either book because it's we're still too early. I'm still up to my eyeballs in October releases, much less November and December. So, but anyway, so we have fiction and nonfiction. We have Twilight of the Gods and the Warrior, the Voyager, and the Artist, plus the Martha's Vineyard Gazette, which sports a Steve review. So there you go. That is the mail. It's a little bit odd and out of place, so I'm going to wrap this up. We won't make it too long. And I don't know how much more you'll see of me today. I have no idea. I'm going to put my thumb in front of the camera because I can't figure out a way to move the control to the left-hand side, and I can't figure out a way to do it remotely. So I have to put my finger on the control right like that. How ridiculous. There's got to be an easy way to solve that I just can't figure out. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to pardon the boarding house reach. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to disappear. But I'll be back. You haven't seen the last of me. Thank you, BookTube.